Welcome to the Thunderdome of knowledge. Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some truly shocking facts about the Korean Army that you probably didn't know. Look, we've all seen the K-pop, we've all enjoyed the deliciousness that is Korean BBQ, but behind all that kimchi and catchy music, there's something else going on. Something that involves a lot more camouflage and a lot less choreographed dancing. That's right, today we're talking about the Korean Army. An institution shaped by history, geopolitical tension, and enough firepower to make your eyebrows shoot off your face in surprise. Stay tuned. Alright, let's start with the basics. In South Korea, military service is mandatory for almost all men. That's right, almost every able-bodied dude has to drop what they're doing, whether it's becoming a world-renowned surgeon, a professional StarCraft player, or perfecting the art of instant ramen preparation, and dedicate around 2 years of their life to the military. Now you might be thinking, 2 years, that's not too bad. And you'd be right, if you're comparing it to, say, being sentenced to eternity in a room filled with nothing but Nickelback albums. But it's still a significant chunk of time that has a massive impact on South Korean society. Imagine, you're just starting your dream job, about to release your debut album, or finally getting around to asking out that special someone, and bam, Uncle Sam, or rather Uncle South Korea, comes knocking with a draft notice and a pair of ill-fitting combat boots. This mandatory service is a legacy of the Korean War and the ever-present threat from the North. It's designed to ensure that South Korea has a large, well-trained force ready to defend itself at a moment's notice. And while it's undeniably a major commitment, it's also fostered a sense of national unity and camaraderie among those who've served. Plus, think about the stories you'll be able to tell afterwards. Just imagine regaling your grandkids with tales of your time in the army, like the time you single-handedly fought off a squadron of North Korean attack squirrels, or the time you accidentally launched a missile because you thought it was a particularly high-tech karaoke machine. Speaking of North Korea, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the heavily armed dictator with a questionable haircut just north of the border. The ongoing tension with North Korea is not just a plot point in a bad action movie, it's a very real and ever-present factor that heavily influences the Korean Army's strategies and priorities. Imagine living next door to a neighbor who's constantly testing out homemade fireworks, building elaborate underground bunkers, and occasionally threatening to turn your lawn into a radioactive wasteland. That's essentially the reality for South Korea, and it means that their military has to be ready for anything. This constant state of vigilance has led to a heavy emphasis on defense, with a military doctrine focused on deterring aggression and maintaining a strong defensive posture. Think of it like this. South Korea is the well-prepared homeowner who has installed top-of-the-line security systems, reinforced their doors, and maybe even adopted a very protective chihuahua, all in the hopes that their unpredictable neighbor will think twice before trying anything funny. Now you might assume that a country constantly on edge would have a military equipped with the latest and greatest technology. And you'd be absolutely right. The Korean Army boasts some seriously impressive hardware, from cutting-edge tanks and fighter jets to advanced missile defense systems that would make even Elon Musk jealous. We're talking about weapons platforms so sophisticated, they could probably write their own Wikipedia entries, compose a symphony, and still have time to make you a perfect cup of tea. And while we're not advocating for a global arms race here, because let's be honest, nobody wins in that scenario, you have to admit, there's something undeniably fascinating about a military that's equipped with technology straight out of a science fiction novel. Chapter 4. Women in the ranks, breaking barriers and taking names, and possibly kicking ass. While mandatory service only applies to men, the role of women in the Korean Army is steadily growing. More and more women are enlisting voluntarily, serving in a wide range of roles, and proving that they're more than capable of holding their own in what has traditionally been a male-dominated field. From combat pilots soaring through the skies, to cyber warfare specialists defending against digital attacks, women are making their mark on every aspect of the Korean military. They're breaking down barriers, shattering stereotypes, and proving that being a badass soldier has absolutely nothing to do with your gender. Chapter 5. Joint Military Exercises. Because sometimes you need a friend to help you practice your sweet military moves. No man is an island, and no country's military exists in a vacuum. The Korean Army regularly participates in joint military exercises with allies like the United States, because let's face it, practicing your synchronized tank maneuvers and coordinated airstrikes is always more fun with friends. These exercises aren't just about showing off their impressive military might, although, let's be real, there's probably a bit of that going on too. They're crucial for strengthening alliances, improving interoperability between different militaries, and sending a clear message to any potential adversaries that messing with one of them means messing with all of them. Chapter 6. DMZ Patrols. A walk in the park. If the park was a heavily fortified border filled with landmines and tension, imagine patrolling a narrow strip of land that separates two countries technically still at war, where any wrong step could trigger an international incident. Welcome to the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, the most heavily fortified border in the world, and a constant reminder of the fragile peace on the Korean peninsula. Patrolling the DMZ is not for the faint of heart. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, where soldiers on both sides stare each other down across a no-man's land littered with landmines and barbed wire. It's a testament to the discipline and bravery of the soldiers who patrol this tense border, day in and day out, ensuring that a stray raccoon doesn't accidentally trigger World War III. Chapter 7. Every good action movie needs a team of elite, highly trained operatives who can swoop in and save the day. The Korean Army has its own version of these badasses, the Special Forces. These are the soldiers who make Chuck Norris look like a cuddly teddy bear, the folks who laugh in the face of danger, and then proceed to dismantle that danger with surgical precision. From hostage rescues to covert operations behind enemy lines, the Special Forces are trained to handle the most dangerous and sensitive missions imaginable. They're the embodiment of military excellence, the tip of the spear, well, you get the idea. They're really good at what they do. Chapter 8. Cyber Warfare, the battlefield of the future, and also, apparently, right now. In today's digital age, warfare isn't just about tanks and missiles. It's also about ones and zeros. The Korean Army recognizes the growing importance of cyber warfare, and they're investing heavily in developing their capabilities in this critical domain. We're talking about digital warriors, hunched over keyboards, defending against cyber attacks, infiltrating enemy networks, and generally making sure that the internet doesn't grind to a halt because someone decided to launch a digital offensive. It's the kind of warfare that doesn't involve any explosions or gunfire, but can be just as impactful, if not more so, in our increasingly interconnected world. Chapter 9. Historical Battles. Because you can't understand the present without knowing the past. Also, explosions. The Korean Army has a long and storied history, filled with tales of valor, sacrifice, and unfortunately, a whole lot of fighting. From the Korean War, which divided the peninsula and shaped the geopolitical landscape of the region, to smaller conflicts and peacekeeping missions around the world, the Korean Army has seen its fair share of action. These historical battles serve as a reminder of the human cost of conflict, the importance of diplomacy, and the bravery of those who serve their country. They're also a testament to the Korean Army's resilience, adaptability, and ability to learn from past experiences to face the challenges of the future. Chapter 10. Military culture, salutes, hierarchy, and a whole lot of respect, for rank at least. The Korean Army, like any military organization, has its own unique culture and traditions. From the strict hierarchy and emphasis on respect for rank to the importance of camaraderie and unit cohesion, there's a certain way of life that's instilled in every soldier who serves. This military culture is a product of the country's history, values, and the ever-present threat from the north. It's a culture that emphasizes discipline, loyalty, and self-sacrifice, forging a strong sense of brotherhood among those who serve. Outro, that's a wrap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your local recruiter. Thanks for watching. If you found these facts about the Korean Army as shocking as we did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating content. We'll leave you with this thought. While we may poke fun at the Korean Army's quirks and complexities, it's important to remember that these are real people, risking their lives every day to defend their country and maintain peace in a volatile region. So, the next time you see a Korean soldier, give them a nod of respect, because they've earned it. See you next time.